A quiet, gentle pony. She lived a perfectly ordinary life until that night, when something woke up inside her old closet. At first, it was just a barely audible whisper coming from the crack of the half-open door. But that whisper knew her name. Terror forced her to run. Driven by primal fear, she barely registered how she ended up in the hallway. The shadows on the peeling walls seemed to stretch out, trying to grab her. But she knew that something far worse than mere shadows was following right behind. Locking herself in the bathroom, she tried to pull herself together. The mirror was supposed to show her a familiar, safe face. But the flickering, erratic light of the lamp and her wide, terror-stricken eyes told a different story. Safety was an illusion. Cold water was supposed to clear her mind, but instead, it brought absolute madness. When she looked up, ominous warnings had bled onto the tiles, and in the mirror, there was no longer a reflection. She was gone. A paralyzing thought pierced her mind. If I'm not in the mirror, then where am I? She began to turn around slowly, fighting through the overwhelming dread, terrified of what might now be standing right behind her back. Suddenly, the house plunged into darkness. The power went out, leaving only the cold moonlight cutting through the windows. In this dead silence, every creak of the floorboards sounded like a death sentence. She froze in the corridor. There it stood in the living room doorway, a tall, faceless silhouette woven from pure darkness, staring with a pair of dead, unblinking eyes. It just watched her, draining her of the last remnants of her strength. Desperation drove her out of the house, but the night city welcomed her, not with salvation, but with a grave-like silence. The streets were completely deserted, and a thick fog crawled slowly over the cobblestones, cutting off any escape routes. A fierce, icy wind snapped the tree branches, as if warning her away. All the surrounding houses stood abandoned and dark. She realized there was nowhere left to run. The light from the broken lanterns barely pierced the gloom. At the end of the street, right out of the fog, something horrific began to take shape. A multi-legged, unnatural entity. She had no choice but to retreat back into the cursed house. She managed to slip back inside and start the generator. The sudden warmth of the wall lamps brought temporary relief, but the darkness in the depths of the hallway seemed to thicken, twisting into an ominous vortex. But even the light couldn't dispel the horror. In the kitchen, she felt a presence down to her bones. A suffocating dread took hold of her, the overwhelming feeling that someone unseen was standing directly behind her. In a panic, she flung open the door of the old refrigerator, instinctively seeking protection within its bright beam of light. But the gloom behind her was merely biding its time. And then she heard it, a heavy, wheezing breath right over her ear. A purple and green smoke began to manifest into a monstrous shape, and its icy claws brushed against the terrified pony's mane. The loud, distinct sound of footsteps forced her to turn around. In that moment, a miracle was all she could hope for. But miracles didn't happen in this house. Standing in the doorway was she herself, but it was a distorted, dark reflection. Hollow black eye sockets and a sickening, frozen smile. It was the face of her own damnation, It morphed into a spider-like abomination, twisting its face into a frantic grin. She had no strength left to fight, only to run, tripping and knocking things over as the creature hunted her down, right on her heels. A dead end. Trapped in the corner of the kitchen, she could run no further. Her doppelganger approached slowly, inevitably, never breaking eye contact. On the wall, the words burned. She is. She had become a permanent prisoner of her own nightmare.